And welcome to another edition of Race Talk Live. Bobby Potts and Bill Grit with you live here. Maddie's beautiful downtown Salina. Food's always great here. Come on down, join us. Our guests haven't arrived yet. We took the show a little early. Thank you for listening to us. You are listening to 95.5 on KVOB. There's the top of the hour station identification. I did it early, so I don't have to worry about it.
Got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we put together a good show tonight. Some of them may not make it. They're coming in from Topeka. Haven't heard from them since middle of the afternoon. Things happen with kids these days, so you never know what's going to, kids and their activities. So,
That's right. Yeah, there's always something going on. I'm past them days, but yeah.
Well,
I know how they feel.
Yeah, it's the Stallbaumer families who we have scheduled. I think Rick is on his way here.
Well, there's like 10 of them, so at least we'll get 2.
Yeah, well at least
two out of the
2
10.
out of the 10, yeah.
I don't know how many there is, but I think there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I've asked them. They're a customer.
A racing family, aren't they?
Oh, they're a customer too, and that's the problem for me because when I get over there and we take care of business, and then we take care of race cars, and then it's a lengthy visit.
I'm sure.
But they love racing, and we'll talk to them a little later. They're coming. Should be here soon. We have a volleyball game following us tonight. The Smoky Valley girls volleyball are playing. Don Bankston takes over at 6:55, and that's our final show of the season. So they gave it to us a little early tonight. We'll get everything handled and get it back to them on time. So there you go.
So thanks, Jared, for letting us get on here a little early and getting all this in.
He's over there punching buttons, and all of a sudden I heard the liner. It's like, we got to go.
Time to start.
Yep, so appreciate all our guests that show up every night. Mike Pfeiffer's here tonight. Of course, the Potts family's here, and Dean's here doing our videos. And we're going to do those this winter once a month like we used to do, so should be a good thing, too. We'll talk about that a little later in the program. You've got some results. Where did you go?
Well, first of all, while you're thanking people, I know I'd like to thank Josh and April Rickman and Willow.
They come every show.
I think they've only missed a couple.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been really good friends to have as far as
yeah, they're great people, and they love racing. They come to the show every week, so that's awesome.
Just talked to Josh, and they are headed to Marshalltown this weekend for a big show in Marshalltown, Iowa.
They love racing.
Getting ready to go up there, and so good luck to them.
They taking Willow?
No, I think just Josh is going.
Oh. Yeah. Willow's not going? April's not going? No. Well, I mean, yeah. She's a racing baby. I mean, come on, let's go.
I know it. Really? I know it.
But our new home has been pretty cool, really.
Yeah. This has been an awesome place.
Maddie does a good job of taking care of us,
And Shauna Fuller for helping.
Oh, yeah.
All the help. They do. They take care of us good back here. So
they do.
Thanks for all the things they do for us.
Food's always good.
This has been a really good place. I hope we continue to make this work.
Talk to the radio station, just a little tidbit of information. They'll give us another year, so that'll put us into year 20. And I think I'll be happy, Bob.
Wow.
Yeah.
20 years.
And, of course, Mr. Pfeiffer's here tonight. Appreciate him showing up.
Thanks, Mike. So.
Yeah. Anyhow, you got some results. So let's, and then we're going to talk some NASCAR stuff because it's crazy stuff.
These are results from the all-day sucker.
Yeah.
That's what they call this deal. It started at, I don't know, noon or 1 in the afternoon. They ran all the qualifying. They ran all 9 classes of cars there at 81 Speedway this weekend. And then came back and continued the features at like 6 o'clock, I think, Saturday night. I didn't get a chance to go.
Why not?
Go. Oh, we had a little family
thing,
get-together, barbecue over at brother-in-law's, so which was fun. Yeah, we had a good time. Cooked some awesome barbecue. But in the Hornets, Corey Bice was the winner. Slade Moore picked up the championship in the Hornets. In the Thumper class, Scott Miller picked up the win and the points championship, so congratulations to Scott. In the Street Stocks, Dave Blocker picked up the win and the points championship at 81 Speedway. In the Mod Lights, Ryan Ayers picked up the win there, and Dustin Forsberg won the points championship. In the Rookie Mods, Brett Davis got the feature win, and Ricky Bonham picked up the points championship. AAA mods. Shelby Stuckey got a win there. Harley Perry was the points champion. In the modifieds, Josh Latterman got the win, and Tyler Davis was the points champion. In the sprint cars, Jeremy Campbell got the win. Jake Greider was the points champion. And in the late models, Chris Kratzer got a win there at 81 Speedway, and Dusty Leonard was the points champ. So congratulations to all the winners and the champions there at 81 Speedway. In 2 weeks, if we still got racing going on, they got an enduro this weekend. Then next weekend is the Grant Young Hands Memorial Race, along with the Chisholm Trail, whatever they call that. The USMTS guys will be in
That's
town.
right. That's that 10,000 to win show.
That's on Saturday. That's the Grant Young Hands Memorial. Yeah, 10,000 to win. I think 1,002. I think to start. So 3,000 to win on Friday night.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some.
That'd be a good show.
Be some good races. I hope the weather holds out, because I know where I'll be.
I know where you'll be too.
That's the 15th and 16th, I believe, is the dates, or 16th, 17th, whatever that Friday, Saturday is. I'm sorry on the date.
Yeah, it kind of makes me wonder if we shouldn't have went a little longer, but we're running out of races around the area, really.
Yep.
Sea Ray, I think, will go. I went to one of Sea Ray's races when it was snowing. And I raced at Thunder Hill when it was snowing.
Yeah.
That gets cold.
And Beatrice.
Yeah, I didn't race at Beatrice. I went with you when it was snowing. And they changed the 2-day to a 1-day. And there you go. Hey, Salina Speedway is remodeling their bathrooms already. Got started on that.
Taking advantage of the nice weather.
That way the bathrooms would be more comfy on those 2-day shows.
Yeah, that's right.
Fit more people.
That's right.
All right, we do some more results here while we got some time. And Xfinity Series, looks like this: Justin Allgaier, Michael Arnett, Chase Briscoe, Tyler Reddick, and Brandon Jones. There were some fists throwing after this one.
There was.
What'd you think?
It was kind of, Cole Custer went over to Tyler Reddick, to tell him he didn't really appreciate him, squeezing him into the wall like he did. And he reached up, put his hand on his shoulder, and
that was enough.
Tyler said, "That ain't going to happen.
Don't touch me."
And so, they went rolling around on the ground. And the video I seen is everybody started jumping on the pile.
Isn't that fun?
Fists were flying and kicking, and all of a sudden, here comes Cole. He squirmed out of the bottom of the pile, and he took off.
Yeah, he's gone.
all of a sudden, Tyler, he pops up out of the pile, and he's still swinging. He got a little boo-boo under his eye, I noticed in his interview. But
I don't think you messed with Tyler.
Yeah, he's a wiry little kid.
Isn't he though?
Yep, he was holding his own. There was a big pile of people there. Not sure if there's any fines or anything come out of it. I don't know.
No, they usually come out on Tuesdays, and I didn't see anything yet. I had a pretty busy day today, but Monster Energy went like this: William Byron in 5th, Kurt Busch in 4th, Kyle Busch in 3rd, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin gets the win. Went to an extended green-white checker here.
They did. They couldn't get it.
I think it changed the race.
It did. They, of course, I think Keselowski, he was right on the bubble the whole time. First, him and Chase Elliott, I think, were going back and forth. They had the little ticker thing on the side. And
sure, who was going to make it?
First he was in, and then he was out. And then he was in, and then he was out. And then they had that restart, and he must have had a bad restart, because then he dropped, I don't know, 5 or 6, 7, 8 points. Yeah. So anyway, he's done as far as the championship goes.
Eliminated, we'll go there next, okay? Eliminated Alex Bowman, William Byron, Clint Boyer, the Kansas boy.
Yeah, Clint had a terrible day. He was running good and brushed the wall the one time, and then just
pit stops didn't help him.
Must have banged the car up enough to where it wouldn't go.
And, of course, it eliminated Brad Keselowski. Some of his fans are thinking they ought to get rid of his crew chief. We'll see what the winner brings. He did get re-signed again with Stuart Haas.
Yeah.
So
yep, he did.
We'll see how that plays out. So the top 8 in your round of 8 looks like this: Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., and Kyle Busch. And let's chat for a second. In 5th spot, Harvick. He doesn't get through tech cleanly. NASCAR does a pre-tech, and it's interesting how that plays out. They pulled themselves out one time or 2 times for a driveline situation.
Yeah.
It didn't even get to tech, but they pulled themselves out of line. You get 3 chances, you fail it, then you lose things, and they lost their car chief, which really, is it going to hurt them?
Yeah. Probably not on race day, but yeah, up to that point, he's pretty important.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The crew chief is the guy that sits on the box and makes all the calls throughout the race.
Right.
And the car chief is
he's like through practice and qualifying.
Is NASCAR making this too difficult?
I don't know. It kind of got me that they pulled themselves out of the line.
I agree. It would be different if NASCAR said you failed.
Right.
They said, "Hey, don't tech us. We're not ready," and they pulled out.
Yeah.
I
don't understand.
It's NASCAR.
I didn't understand that part of it. I don't know.
I think if you put your team underwear on wrong, they'll fine you.
Might be.
I'm serious.
Yeah. I don't know.
And they wonder why there's nobody in the stands. What'd you think of the stands? There were still tickets for sale Sunday.
I wish I would have went.
I know, me too.
I seen all the seats. Yeah.
I know.
I'd never been to one where you could actually
walk up there,
get a ticket, and then actually relax when you're sitting. You can
and not have everybody around you.
Go sit wherever you wanted, pretty much.
Man, I tell you what, I messed up so bad. For years I tried to get my daughter involved in racing, and so I got tickets to a truck race one July. In the early, you remember the beginning days?
Oh yeah.
So I got tickets to a truck race in the afternoon.
So
we all went. Me, the ex-wife, the kids. It was 120 bazillion degrees.
Yep.
We're sitting in aluminum bleachers.
Been there.
My poor daughter was frying. She was sizzling like a piece of bacon in a frying pan. Had to go down under the stands and stand in the breeze things with the water that they. Oh yeah. They hated racing from that point on.
I'd never been to an IndyCar race. Well, we had the package.
Those are loud.
The package that comes, you got the trucks and the IndyCars, and then Xfinity, and then Monster Energy. And never been to an IndyCar race. We had the tickets, so let's go. So I got all the peels to go, all the farm boys.
Ooh.
And it was the same. It might have been that same weekend.
It's a bazillion hundred degrees.
It was like 100 and some plus degrees. Yeah, we sat there.
And you're sitting in those aluminum bleachers.
But you want to know how stupid we were? We left there and drove to Belleville, and then went to the races at Belleville that night.
Oh.
But going from Kansas City to Belleville, we took the back roads. You ever been with the farmer on the back roads?
Nope.
We had to stop at like every implement dealer
to see something.
See all the used combines and tractors.
Because they hadn't been that way ever.
Yeah, we drove through all kinds of. Yeah, it took us forever to get to Belleville, but.
I'm sure.
That was a long day.
I'm sure.
That was a long day.
I'm sure. Yep. I can only imagine traveling with that crew anyhow.
Yeah. Yep. So, that was fun, though.
Always is, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a good time.
So, Rick Stallbaumer is here. Rick, grab that microphone. We'll go ahead and chat for a second.
Yep.
Let's see which one you have.
There you go.
Talk to me for a second. I didn't get a chance to mic check it.
Hey, how you doing?
Boy, you are going to have to do a lot of talking. You came all by yourself.
Yes, I did. I had the boys. The boys were all supposed to show up, and just ironically, everybody had something going on tonight.
We know how that happens.
Every one of them felt bad they couldn't make it, but
yep.
Luke had to work. Tim has school in Kansas City right now, so he was going to school, and Matt just had that new little baby.
I seen that.
Yep.
Congratulations on that, Grandpa.
I love it. First thing I asked him, I said, "So what color race car do you want?"
I saw you guys this week, as a customer of ours, and chatted with him. Nathan is doing well. Mom's doing well. And,
yes.
What's Nathan's middle name? He told
Joseph.
me. Joseph. And
Matt's Joseph, and I'm Joseph. So,
okay.
Yeah.
You couldn't talk your wife into coming with you tonight, huh?
No, she had to work till 5 o'clock.
Okay. Now, I know the 6 o'clock show. I appreciate you guys heading this direction. But we got plenty to talk about.
Yeah.
How was the season for you this year?
Oh, my gosh. What an incredible year. What an incredible year. I don't think we could ever match a season like we had this year, especially for Luke. Luke started out the season with a goal of trying to win a points championship and chase Kansas State points to see how good he could do. And he started out the year really strong. He won the points championship at Thunder Hill in the Northern Sport Mod class. Then he won the points championship at Salina. He ended up with 12 wins on the year. He ended up with won Kansas State points pretty soundly, actually. And he ended up 6th in the nation. So
cool
for national points.
That's awesome.
It is. I think it's incredibly hard to run for national points out of the state of Kansas.
Out of Kansas, it's almost impossible. On one weekend, we actually raced. On the weekend, we drove from Topeka to Goodland, actually to Colby.
Jeez.
We went from Colby to Dodge City. We went from Dodge City back to Thunder Hill, and then we went from Mayetta, and then we went from Mayetta to Goodland on that same weekend, and then back home.
Did you have to do an oil change on the tow rig?
Yeah, it was a crazy weekend, but
Wow.
Luke set his goal for going for the the state points, and it's amazing how much people think that this is just going to the racetrack and racing. We raced it at Bethany, and I was talking to you about this the other day. We raced at Bethany, and we counted how many man hours we worked on that car for. If we have 2 guys, that's 2 man hours at a time going with it. And we counted up that we had, I believe it was 94 hours in the car just to get the car ready. And the car wasn't beat up. There was nothing wrong with it. It's just the maintenance that we have to do just to run back at Salina. So, and Bethany, Missouri to Salina the next weekend. And we don't do a lot of wrenching on it between the races when we race 2 and 3 in a row. But most of it, we have a wonderful pit crew. We got Shane that comes over all the time and works on it. Michael does. Shane Smith, Michael Keller.
Sure.
And they're both, I can call them. In fact, Michael right now is in North Dakota getting a race car for us.
Sure.
He went to go.
Your wife is listening. The boys have shown her.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, they're actually. He called me. He says he's 2 hours out of Fargo right now to go get another race car for us. So that's.
You was talking just then about the number of hours put into a car, and I've preached this forever that races are won in the shop.
Oh, that's definite.
Not at the racetrack.
There's not even a question about
Yeah.
that. The preparation that you do on the race cars, the guys that run up front, and you can learn this from the guys that wear around like Darren Fuquay and Stephen Bowers. They're out in their garage all the time.
Yep.
You can go by their house anytime. You don't even have to ask. You just go by their house. They're in their garage.
Working on it.
And we're the same way. Luke gets off work with his job. He gets off at 2:30 in the morning with his job. And he sees the sun come up every day that he's over there working on the car.
Wow.
So,
Wow. With all the cars that you guys got, I mean, as far as Luke and Tim and Kyle and Matt and all them, do you guys have the cars all in one shop?
No,
or
we don't.
They keep them all
no,
themselves?
believe it or not, I have a 2-car garage at my house.
Okay.
Attached garage onto the house.
Okay.
And we keep 2 of them in there. We keep 1 in the trailer, the enclosed trailer. Kyle has 2 of them at his house. Matt's got a couple at his house. So, and we put 2 more cars onto the stable this year.
That is nuts.
I think Matt's going to race the Northern Sport Mod this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna end up with all the boys racing. They want to race with each other. They think it's fun to race with each other. I mean, for me, the most rewarding race I've ever had in my life, was the night at Salina that the boys got 1, 2, 3.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was, for me, just there's nothing better as a dad. I got 3 wins in one night.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
Yeah.
The funnest call for me was, Didn't Luke and Tim run 1 and 2 at Thunder Hill?
A couple times, I think.
Yeah, they end up with 4 of them, 4 or 5 at Thunder Hill that they
Yeah.
got 1, 2.
Yeah.
And I think
The last 3 all in a row they did.
And Luke, let's see, Luke won the points championship there.
Yes, he
Right.
did.
And then him and Tim met at the
Yeah.
front straightaway.
Yeah.
I got a picture of them up there just hugging each other, so happy. And that picture is the coolest picture for racing that you could ever have as a dad, to see both of your kids so excited that they're hugging each other.
Yep.
For the one won the race and the other one won the points championship.
And then on top it up, I'm down there in the middle of it, and I get to hear all this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get to hear all the excitement. Yeah, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got some good kids there.
You do. Do they ever fight?
They used to all the time when they were kids.
Who won?
They fought
Who
like
won?
cats. I'm usually, it's pretty vicious. I don't want to get
No,
too
it's
deep into the fight. Never
shoot.
dad.
Yeah, I'm sure. They're good kids. They
Yes.
are, you know.
And it's so cool for me because I'm blessed with 4 boys that totally respect me in every way. They do. They love me. And I love each and every one of them so much. And I can tell you where my kids are every night of the week. I can tell you, you asked me what was they doing last Tuesday. I can tell you what my boys were doing, all 4 of them.
You and I have had some really lengthy conversations, and I think as parents we do love our children as much, we do. But you guys have a really tight-knit family. And does your wife go to the races with you guys?
Yes, she does. She's the biggest fan of them. She is. She just she has a different aspect on it, though. I feel that the boys are totally safe inside the car, and every time somebody gets close, she's up there screaming and panicking and everything else. I'm going like slide, stop, And
I first met you at a driver's meeting at Thunder Hill Speedway. I believe you were racing a stock car at the time, or a street stock, or a hobby stock. I can't.
It was at that time they called them at
weren't-
Thunder Hill. They called them sportsmen, I believe.
And I thought you were the most obnoxious individual I'd ever met.
I was.
You were upset.
I was.
You got your point across, though.
Yeah, if I remember that argument there, you said something about the rules, one of the Salina rules to.
Yeah, because there were some cars that wanted to come over from Salina, and you didn't care.
I really didn't. The idea is we had the biggest car count there, and I thought, don't keep changing our rules so other people can come.
Right.
I think that's one of the biggest downfalls in racing today, and that's why I love IMCA so much, is because IMCA keeps the rules the same every year. We haven't seen the rules for next year, but I can tell you right now, they're going to be the same as they was last year, or so close it's unbelievable.
What do we got for time, Bob?
We got a couple minutes. Yep.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of. I feel bad for northeastern Kansas, and there's a group around Topeka that doesn't support IMCA racing, and they got it wrong. They really do. In my personal opinion, I don't know
will
how
agree
you feel
so much. I will agree so much with it. The IMCA racing and everybody's on this kick. Well, IMCA is making money off this. And they got to make money. It doesn't matter. It's a business. They have to make money.
You're going to spend the money on tires somewhere else. I don't like the tire they got us on. It's plastic, but everybody's on a plastic tire.
If we're all on the same tire, it's all the same.
That's right.
And if they do make some money on it, well, it's a business. You support, help a lot of racers. You have a fantastic business, and we've talked lengthy about the power glides that Smith Brothers Transmission sells and puts out there. And you've told me if somebody buys one of your transmissions, it's not going to break because you're going to make sure that they do all the extra stuff to make it right from the beginning. You guys do good work. That's the point.
Well, and we pride ourselves in the work we do. I have 2 of my boys working there with me, Matt and Kyle.
Is that cool?
And it is. It's so awesome. And sometimes when it's race season, we really don't get a lot of work done because we're doing a lot of race talk,
Yeah, I'm guilty.
Guys come in, and sometimes we'll spend 2 hours just talking, and all of us there in a little group talking race talk. And, man, it's so awesome as a dad to be able to spend that time with my kids doing that.
Did the 2 boys, Matt and Kyle, did they want to become part of your business, or did you?
They just wanted a job.
Are they indentured servants, or did
they just wanted a job?
But they're good at it.
Yes, they're very good at it. I could walk away today, and they could run the business just as well as I do. running a business there. I mean, they're so good at it right now that, and we build the highest quality transmission around. I'm totally in belief that there's nobody better than that. Not trying to put this as a selling factor, but come to Smith Brothers Transmission Service.
Well,
no,
there we go.
no joke.
Just sponsor the race car. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no, I think it's admirable. You got your sons working with you, and they do a good job. I mean, I've come in there and watched them. I've seen them turn it out. I've seen them work on some problems and stuff. So, it is what it is. It's cool. I think somehow the same work ethic that they have on the racetrack and the race cars is applied to their business with you. So
Yes.
We'll talk some more. We've got to take a quick break here. More from Racetalk Live after this timeout. And welcome back to Racetalk Live. Bobby Potts, Bill Gritt, still joined with Stallbaumer Racing. Rick Stallbaumer here. Maddie's Grill and Chill, 1844 North 9th. Come on down, join us for dinner. Grab your favorite adult beverage. It's always a good time.
Yep, it is. Got chicken enchiladas on special tonight.
Is that what you're going to try?
Yep, that's what I'm having.
I don't know.
You get 2 chicken enchiladas and some black beans.
Really?
Yep.
$10?
I don't know how much it is.
I don't either. Come on down.
It
It'll
don't
be good.
matter.
It'll be good.
It's all
worth
worth
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Rick, you said I could ask you anything, so it's wide open now, so look out.
Here we go.
Oh, no.
Here we go.
What's the deal with the bright yellow shirt? You wear it everywhere.
Yeah.
I want to be known.
Everybody knows who you are.
no, seriously.
When did you start that?
I want the kids to be able to. The main goal of that is my kids do watch for me in the stands. Okay, they want to know something, and my big thing is if they start losing their temper, the bright shirts actually went for a sign for them. Don't lose your temper on the track, because when you lose your temper on the racetrack, you've lost the race.
Have you ever lost your temper on a racetrack?
Oh, God. At you. No, seriously.
I think I've had a guy lose his temper at me once or twice.
No, yes, I have lost my temper on the track. In fact, I've lost my temper on the track and retaliated after a guy and got the wrong guy.
Oh,
I did
boy.
the exact same thing at the end of the race.
That is so embarrassing.
And it's crazy. But you know what? What is it about this sport? It's such an adrenaline-filled sport. It'll make you, if you lose your focus, it'll make you do something really stupid.
Well, when you do, and that's the deal with the boys is, you're really not racing your competitors. You're racing yourself out there. You're trying to take your car and put it as fast as you can go and avoid everybody else. And as far as out there, you're not really racing the competitors. You're racing
The track.
to try to make the car go as fast as you can on the track. And so many people lose track of that, I feel like, because they're trying to race that guy. And when he's running below you, instead of running where you know the line's better, you try to cut down in his line and block him. And all that does is you don't see good race car drivers. You don't see the top of the line race car drivers when somebody's going below them try to dive down lower on the track or run a different line. A good race car driver will keep his line. I mean, we run against guys like Dakota Sproul, and he will not move his line one bit. If we're running the top, he's running the bottom, he's staying there, or the other way around. And, and I'm not just picking on him being the only one, but there's a lot of them out there.
I got to bring this up because it all ended up being kind of funny, but afterwards, but when it happened, talking about losing your temper, you lost your temper in the pits at Thunder Hill one night.
Yes.
Back.
How many times?
Yeah.
What year? What year is this one?
Back when Curtis Peel was running the Sport Mod.
And they're wonderful people.
You and Kendall were belly bumping out in the middle.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because when you do that, at the time you just know that that's the right thing to do, and you get up the next morning and you go, "What an idiot!" Oh my God, I wish I could take that back.
You ever had to make that phone call the next morning?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes, I have, and I usually won't wait till the next morning to call. I'll usually wait a week or so.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I will
that's
attempt
usually the best.
once on a phone call. And if they don't answer the phone, the attempt is done, because that means they're not ready to talk to me usually,
Right,
And I want you to think about that. If you're still mad at somebody and they call a phone and you look at it, you go, I ain't answering that jerk, And I'm thinking that's what they said. And most of the time I was. That's why they were saying that.
Well, that leads me to today's racing, okay? When you and I were racing earlier on, we didn't have instant satisfaction with social media, and we would talk to the driver. Now we've got people in the stands that see something, and they may not have seen exactly what happened, or they may not have seen, and instantly they're on the internet saying this guy's a jerk, he's a bad driver, he ran over my guy. And I really believe, and I know I've been guilty of it too, but if you let the drivers handle it, in a week or so they'll have it fixed.
It'll be all done.
That is so true with letting the drivers handle it, because it's not even that. This is a sport that we all love, and it's our passion and it's our love. And then when we start going out there, and I'm just going to say, for instance, if I was racing against you and I got mad at you and I start talking trash on you, now none of my friends are going to like you. And if it's the track promoter that made a decision, it doesn't matter what decision they make, it's wrong. Because if they make a decision to DQ this guy, he's furious. If you don't DQ him, everybody else is furious.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
If they watered the track, it's too muddy. If they didn't water it enough, it's too dry. It's a no-win situation. And
that's from sitting in the stands. My few times that I have, watering the track is like a huge thing. You go out there and you start a race. The sport mods usually race early in the night. The track is usually real greasy on the bottom.
Right.
A guy drives in the corner and dives for the bottom.
And there's nothing there.
It ain't going to turn.
It's not going to stick
and
there.
And he goes straight, and he runs into a guy. Oh, he did that on purpose. The guy didn't do it on purpose.
No.
I mean, it just happened.
Most of them don't want to tear their stuff up
we
like
have
that.
a handful of drivers out there that will, but I'm saying that is usually not at anybody. That is after him or something like that.
Yeah.
And when they get out of the car, they usually know it, and they'll tell everybody. That's for last week. It's like if you can't get over it in a week's time at racing, you need to find another sport.
Right.
We're racing on dirt, and things happen. Tracks change, and I think you're right. I believe you're right. If you teach your driver to race the track, then he won't worry about everybody else that's around him.
Yeah.
So many guys worry about who's around him. Race the track.
Grudges will slow a guy down.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Or
if you're training a new driver, a young driver, the best thing you can tell them is never lose your temper.
Right.
If you see us out there giving signs, we're pointing at our head a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because we will see that guy did what we thought maybe was wrong. So you're pointing at your head. Don't lose your head.
Yeah.
And that's the sign that we will give them. Don't lose your head. Don't do something stupid.
Yep. That's a lot.
It's hard. What's the hardest thing to teach your boys, or do they pick this up naturally?
The hardest thing to teach them
about racing.
I don't know.
Have they caught on fairly quick?
They're pretty good at it. They really are. Each and every one of them, as you learn, you have the struggles of learning how to drive the car and how to drive the track instead of other drivers. And that's probably the biggest thing right there is driving the track. And listening and giving input on the car.
Yeah.
Giving input on the car. Most very good race car drivers, you get out of the car and you go, what was the car doing? And they go like, I don't know.
It was a dump truck. Okay.
And they go, well, was it pushing or loose? And they sit there and they think for a little bit. And it's like, I've had them get out of the car and they say, after that first yellow, and they go, was there a yellow? I go, there was 3.
Yeah, you caused one.
So you got 3 boys in a sport mod. Each of them got different driving styles. I mean,
definitely.
All their cars is different.
Day and night difference. And
really?
Everybody thinks our cars are set up all the same.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, and I shouldn't
be a handful to chase.
I shouldn't throw figures out, but I'm just going to say this. In left bite in the car, okay? In left bite in the car, Luke drives with 19 pounds of left bite in the car. Kyle likes like 60, and Tim wants 120.
Oh,
okay. And that is a difference in their aggressiveness of driving. Okay. So which one's better? You cannot put them the opposite way. You'll slow each one of them down.
Right.
The cars are different heights off the ground. Every one of them's a different height off the ground. The ride heights are different. The panhard bars angle on every car. Not one of them are the same. And there's nothing the same on them.
Are they in the same chassis of cars?
Yes, every one of them are in BMS chassis, and I'll tell you what, I love them BMS chassis. In fact, there's one more that's going to be in my garage tomorrow night.
Really?
So, and we got a brand new one, and we have a brand new one sitting there just waiting to get out too. So we got 2 new cars.
Jimmy's doing a good job on the cars.
He is. He does an incredible job with the car. And the nice part about him is you can call him up, and you can go, Jimmy, my car's doing this. We was at Hayes about halfway through the season, and I told. And we was terrible. It was dry slick. We was terrible. And I come off the track, and I told Luke, Luke, you drove one heck of a race there. He goes, Dad, I got 8th. I go, no, you drove one fantastic race. I pulled the whole crew in there, and I says, I promise you, I will fix what's wrong with the car. I don't know what it is. I got on the phone. I called Bob Harris. I called Troy Fry. I called Jimmy Reeves. I called everybody I knew to ask what to do to this car, what we did. And every one of them says, I told them what I did, and every one of them goes, don't ever do that again, Rick.
Oops.
Yeah, don't ever do that again. That was not right.
And again, we got to take a quick break here, Rick. More from Race Talk Live after this timeout. Wow. Well, we just got surprised as well.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Race Talk Live. Bill Grett, Bobby Potts, still with Rick Stallbaumer from Stallbaumer Family Racing. The man that started this thing 19 years ago with us, Jerry Jones, walks in. Pick up the mic, friend. What are you doing in town? There you go. You're set up.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are
Doing
you?
good, Jerry.
Good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you guys too. We just decided today on a day off, we thought we'd come up here for your final show, and we'd make an appearance and just say hello to you guys. I watch everyone now and then online, and
what do you think of the program? What do you think of the show?
You guys do a great job. You really do.
You're the master
it was
at
actually
this. You got this started.
You and I did, along with other people. Matter of fact, a lot of Salina people may remember Steve Ryan.
Yes.
That he was the guy that originally was the
program director,
the producer for
us. Yes.
Yeah. And Steve Ryan is now, I believe, in Missouri. I believe is where he's
yes.
But nevertheless, in 2008, when I left, Bobby Potts came on board.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
And threw him right in the mix. But I tell you what, you guys have just done a fabulous job with this show.
Thank you, Jerry. I mean, this has been an awesome adventure for me, learning all this stuff, and thank you.
And again, we got approval to go one more year, which would put us to 20 years. So that's my goal. If my health will stay there, that's the goal. And they've committed here, so that's. And I've told Bobby, we get to 20 years, we're going to do it. So
the power of positive thinking, and yes, it will go for the 20th year.
That's what I'm doing.
So.
Man, oh man, so glad to have you aboard. Good to see you. Jerry's been a track announcer for years at different racetracks. Started with the J Husker Series, Rick. This Rick Stallbaumer, Jerry Jones, by the way. I had him sit in and announce for me a couple of times when he lived in Topeka up at Thunder Hill. Tried to get him to come up a couple times this year when I was sick and not able to make it.
He was always busy.
But Bobby had to do it.
Thanks a lot.
Bobby still hasn't got over being mad at me about that.
Yeah. I'm surprised you showed up here.
Oh, that was quite a night. Everywhere from couldn't get the national anthem to play, and then I left the music play while I was talking, and yeah, it was.
I would have thought you'd have just sang that yourself, did you? I mean, you got a fabulous voice.
Whatever. Oh, shoot.
Okay, Jerry, you sit in here with us. We're going to have some dinner and a drink afterward. How's that sound?
Yeah, I'm going to stay around
you
for a
stay
drink.
right here. Stay with that mic.
I was going to ask Rick. Oh,
please do.
Like 3 or 4 questions ago. You raced yourself.
Yes, I did.
How many years did you race? What did you get started in?
I got started actually in an enduro car.
Is that right?
Yes, we rented an enduro, and it all started with I went to an enduro race, watched the guys racing, and it's like, wow, that looks like fun.
Yep.
And my neighbor needed a motor, so I said, so I went and talked to the guys, and they needed a 302 motor for his Granada. And I says, I'll tell you what I'll do. This car runs good. I'll go up and try to buy that car. but I get a race at one time. And if the motor still works, I'll sell you the motor for what I paid for the car.
That's all it took. Huh?
And I got hooked. That was the disease.
See, what tracks do you think in your mind? What do you think tracks need to do to get people into racing? I mean, do they need to hold more events like that?
I don't know. I love the entry level enduro races, the special events kind of things, that kind of things. Usually, almost every time you have an enduro, you'll pull 4 or 5 guys out of it that will come back and continue to race with us. And I don't know. I guess.
What's your opinion on? I think IMCA started the sport compacts as an entry level. What's your input on sport compacts?
You don't want to hear it.
Go ahead.
You don't want to hear it. Sport compact, to me, is the problem with it is as you build your race car, you start up with a hobby stock or the beginner class, an enduro car, and then you start racing that, and you end up with a handful of things that will go to the next class.
Right.
Okay? The sport compact, not very many things will advance to the next class. So if you start out with, and I remember this is how I started. I started with like the bottom class, and as you're racing, if somebody gives you a 4-barrel, and it's like, well, we can't run them, but I got it here, so when we went to the state fair, they let us run a 4-barrel, so we put it on.
There you go. You had it. Yep.
I think the only thing, I know there's sport compact drivers out there, and I think they teach you how to race in a crowd. I think that's it. I think it's the hardest class out there beside Mod Lights to tech because there's too many different variations.
Right. As far as getting people to move up, that's the only problem I have with it.
Yeah.
The idea of the sport, the idea of the class, the idea of the people, they're doing everything we're doing. They're trying just as hard. They're doing everything that we're doing. It's just the only problem with that is when they're done, they don't have the equipment to move up a class. They almost like you got to start over.
Yeah, that's hard.
It is.
As a racer, I know you've probably at one point or another sold everything you had and then started over again.
No.
That's you never have?
No.
I've done it.
No.
It ain't no fun.
I can't.
I don't recommend
This disease ain't selling nothing. You can ask my kids. I still have the stuff I started racing with.
Is there?
I don't get rid of nothing. I finally sold.
Yeah, that's a real race driver right there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just keeps it all.
Yeah, I keep everything. I still have my Ford heads and my Ford that I ran Ford all the time, and everything was Fords. I still got half the motors sitting there still. I don't get rid of nothing.
No, I've sold out everything, then try to do it again. It's hard. But anyhow, you're going from a front-wheel drive car, and the next move up is all rear-wheel drive, so nothing handles the same.
Right.
It's difficult. I know what they're trying to do. We've talked a little bit about Thunderhill Speedway tonight, and we're not a Thunderhill show. We're not a Salina Speedway show. We're based out of Salina. Sport compacts don't work at Thunderhill because it's just too big.
I understand that.
And it's tough.
Yeah, the track's such a fast track too, because the cars are traveling such a high rate of speed that I don't know I don't know how well they tech them and how good the cars are, because I really haven't dug deep into it. So I really probably not the guy to even be talking about them.
If a guy comes to you and he wants to get into an entry level class, where do you point him at?
I really, really, really think the class to start in is a sport mod.
Really?
And a lot of people will argue that, because you can buy a cheap sport mod really cheap, and you can run up front. And I'm just going to throw the Tristan Phillips this year. Tristan is a couple years into racing. He got a win at Thunderhill.
He did.
And a couple years into racing, he's got he went out there that race. He was pitted right next to us, and his car wouldn't go. He ripped the front wheel, fell off on hot laps, and we went over there and helped him put the car all back together. And by the end of the night, he finished his heat race, and at the end of the night, he beat Luke by .007 seconds.
Yeah.
Other than that, between my two boys, they got 7 out of 10 wins there.
I think we see some good racing in the stock car class. I think the modified class is pretty spendy. But I think all the IMCA classes are pretty even, really. We've seen some pretty good racing in all of them. but I would agree with you. The sport mod's a pretty good entry level class.
You know, I hate to say it, but when you're talking about the modifieds being spendy, the spring and the shock thing is getting kind of out of control, and I think it's trickling down into the sport mod class. What do you think on that?
It is. It is. You know, and I know a lot of guys that have over $1,000 in shocks on the car.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And they're out there racing for what's it pay to win a sport mod feature?
It's not about money, buddy.
Yeah.
It's not about money. They don't have to pay us. I don't drink, and I'd race for a 6-pack of beer.
That's awesome.
Where'd the number come from?
My number came from, honestly, I raced Plaza Speedway and Topeka Raceway one year years ago, and the short track at Topeka Raceway made us paint the number on the car. You could not use duct tape and change the number, okay? So we had to repaint number 40, and then we put it to 48. And then we put 40 when we went back the other track and 48. So I went between both tracks. I wanted the lowest number I could get. And I started with 1, and that was open at both tracks there and to possibility of moving up a class. And 29 was the first one. And I got to look back at the 29, and after I got it, I kind of felt bad because there was a legend in our area, Drescher. God, what was his name? It's Drescher. The 29, he drove a Ford also back then, and then he died, and in fact. I felt bad for using his number. I kind of felt like I was taken away from his legend of it.
Sure.
But we stayed with it. I always had the R, and that come from Insane Randy Payne. He had his R5, and I got the R going first, and mine was Rick for that. And then I planned my kids. Matt was supposed to be M for Matt. He was supposed to be M27. Kyle's K27.
Yep.
Luke is L26, so on and so forth.
And Tim is T25.
Yes, Tim's T25, but Matt, when he was little, he goes, Matt's name is spelt with 1 T, so his name is actually, instead of M-A-T-T, it's M-A-T, and his race car number is M-A-T.
Okay.
M-80, M-A-T.
Okay.
And
So
he
that's
figured
where
that
the
out.
M80 came from.
He figured that out when he was in the first grade, and he's always said, I want to be M80.
So you knew the boys were going to get into racing. Did they play any sports or anything when they were younger?
Yeah. In fact, as sports, Matt played competitive at Lake Shawnee, which is one of the top things in Topeka. Kyle played out there. I was a coach with both of them. I was the soccer coach for both of them at the same time, and I raced full time that year.
You were a soccer coach?
Yes, and I'm a good soccer coach. I was a Cub Scout den leader.
Hey, that's World Cup material right there.
Yeah, Cub Scout den leader. My wife taught religion. We were very active with the kids. So,
I'll be darned.
Cool.
And the more active you are with your kids, the more they follow you when they grow up. Yeah. It really is. It's the more you do with them, the more they want to do back with you.
That's right.
4 boys.
awesome.
Can you imagine?
Oh, boy.
His poor wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm telling you the good stories. I haven't told you the ones about like when they threw the tomatoes and the eggs at the neighbor's RV and did like $5,000 damage to it.
Got in trouble.
When they was 12.
Kids would be kids.
I just tattletaled on them.
So what did the boys when they came to you and started racing? What'd you start them in?
Matthew's first race ever. Matt was 16 years old. Never raced a race car. My car that I had back then was very, very, very good. The car won the races, not me. That was the year that they put a bounty on me, and we won almost every race that year.
I hate guys like you.
I know. on race number 3 that year, they started me dead last.
Do you know how hard those races are to call, even let alone
Yes.
race you?
They
he's
started
out front again.
They started me dead last, and I led lap 1. There was 18 cars, and I led lap 1.
That's impossible.
Yes, and we lapped every car but second place, and I followed him. Well, anyways, we put Matt in the car the next year. And in the heat race, he got lapped by this car that was so slow that was like, we lapped him like 4 times every night.
Oh, gosh.
And after the heat race, I said, son, I don't know if I can do this. If you get lapped by that guy in the feature, you might not be racing next week.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I was a jerk. So anyways, he goes out there in the race, first race, never raced before. He's 16 years old. And it was in the they were fast class. They were turning faster lap times than the A-mods were back then. He started out, and he was just getting ready to get lapped. And pretty soon it's like, wow, he's keeping up. The guy that was up there, and he's deceased now, PJ Flowers, wonderful guy. But PJ was just getting ready to lap him. Pretty soon it's like, wow, he's keeping up with them. Wow, he's pulling away from PJ. It went green to checkered. He came all the way back around. Door slammed PJ's brand new white car coming off of turn number 4. First race ever in the car, and just wiped out the side of PJ's car, but Matt won.
Oh, my.
Never been in a car before. Both cars looked pretty rough when the night was over, but he won.
So you were such of a big Ford guy. How come no Fords in any of your cars now?
I actually grew up, my dad owned a Ford dealership.
Okay.
I grew up in a small dealership, Stallbaumer Ford up in Seneca. My dad sold it to Rick Honeyman Ford up there. But I bled Ford blue back then, you know? And Leonard Fricky, when my Fords kept breaking, Leonard Fricky told me to take a motor and just run it and bring back the broken pieces. And I did it, and it didn't break. And after a couple of weeks, I said, well, here's your motor back. I pulled it out and brought it to him. He goes, it ain't broke. Keep bracing it.
Is that when you switched over to Chevrolet, or?
Yeah, I just started buying piece by piece, thinking I would do my Ford again. And, you know, if they don't break, you don't go from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is the Ford lighter than the Chevrolet, or is
No,
it,
they're heavier.
They're heavier.
They're heavier.
Okay.
That's we have a couple guys out there that are running the Fords, and I think I know they put out more power than the Chevrolet. They do.
It's about 30 pounds, isn't it?
Yes, but the weight
difference?
is hard to overcome on the front of the
On
car.
the nose, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's really hard to overcome, and you got guys like Travis Berger that's running his Ford, and he's so fast with it, but it's causing him a little bit of a handling problem that way, I think.
Sometimes.
But
Yep.
yeah, the handling problem is tough to overcome. You know, you can't lighten up your radiator too much, because then you overheat. And you can't,
That was one of the big deals when the crate motor and the modifieds came along, is having the aluminum heads, and having the front of the car so much lighter.
In the A mod, not the sport mod. And I'm talking all about sport mod.
Right.
now.
But in the modified
Yeah.
guys, when the crate motor came along with the aluminum heads, you're taking a lot of weight off the front, and I think you're right. It does
Make a
big
difference.
difference.
Guys, we got to take the last break of the season. More from Racetalk Live after this timeout. Well, folks, welcome back to Racetalk Live, final Racetalk show on this year. Bobby Potts, Bill Grit here with you again. Rick Stallbaumer and my dear friend Jerry Jones made it up from Derby, Kansas to help us out tonight with the program. We've only got a few minutes left in this program, so Bobby, take it away.
Well, once again, Rick, thanks for making the trip over from Topeka. I know all summer long it's been outstanding. Well, phenomenal. Jerry's favorite word.
I was just going to say that, Bobby. You guys just had an anniversary, and I didn't put that up on Facebook, but I was going to say that to you and Peggy. Just a happy, phenomenal anniversary.
Oh, thank you. But
Peggy hates that word.
Yeah. But no, for the support that we've had, from all the people that have traveled the miles that they
to
did
come here. And Rick,
come
you coming over from Topeka means a lot. I know you tried to get somebody else when the boys bailed on you. That would have been even fantastic. And next year, I'd like to bring a couple Topeka drivers over here. Don't know how I can get them here, but we'll try. And move to Topeka.
Move to Topeka.
I think just us coming here, I really do. I think us coming here to race shows everybody that this is a winnable track, and nobody wants to go somewhere where you don't think you stand a chance of winning.
You know, Salina Speedway is it's a tough track to race on. And I want your opinion on this. It's a little narrow. It's a good track. I'm not talking negative, but you got to use the brakes to get in the corner. You got to drive the corners here at Salina Speedway. I think you would agree. They're not big sweeping corners like other racetracks, and you got to get on the brakes, get in the corner. You got to race this thing, you know?
Yeah. I love Salina Speedway, and the tracks are different.
Sure.
I mean, the corners are different. 1 and 2 is different than
3 and 4.
3 and 4, and they're totally different cars or corners, and you have to set your car up kind of for both of them at the same time.
You have to set it up in the middle.
Yes, and that's kind of tricky to do, but every track has got their own little glitches that you go into. We're all racing against the same adversity.
Same track.
Yeah.
You know, same tight corner 1 and 2, same loose corner 3 and 4
Yep.
on any given night, and that goes to any racetrack. Do you have a favorite track?
The one we win at.
There you go.
I knew that was
No, Thunderhill is a wonderful facility. It really is. Thunderhill is an incredible facility. Salina is great. Hayes has got so much going for it. Probably out of any of them, though, if you go to Dodge City, man, that is just incredible. If you haven't been there, that's one of them bucket list ones that you gotta go see. That is, we've been to Colby, we've been to Goodland. Goodland's always dry slick, so you better be ready for that. We've been to Waukene and Stockton, and I'm going to have to say probably the favorite out of any of them would have to be Dodge City.
Okay, big sweeping corners there. Carry a lot of speed throughout the whole track. World of Outlaws were fast the night I was there. I got covered in mud sitting in the stands.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah?
You sure don't lift much there at all at Dodge City. Not much at all. That's just a fantastic track. I've been out there a lot, not only to watch the World of Outlaws, the sprint cars, but also announced for the USAC midget cars out there as well. And boy, did they put on a show, big time.
Yep, that's a nice.
Yeah,
nice
I don't
place
think
for sure.
they get much better than that, but Lucas Oil's pretty nice over on the other side.
Well,
too.
yeah, that's a diamond.
That's comparable. The two of them are. I don't know which one I like better. So,
You know, Rick, we got like 3 minutes left. We're gonna run out of time here before we get all this in. I know you got a lot of sponsors on your cars, people that help out. You got, I don't know how many cars in your stable, but all the sponsorship that you can drum up helps. Can you name some names?
I'm going to do this, but
Give
first
some
of all,
thanks.
I'm going to tell you that if anybody's out there listening to this and you are not on a race car, you need to be. My business is changed because of the amount of work that, because of advertising on race cars, puts through my door.
People come
And
to
if
see
you
it.
do not,
That's good.
if you are not on somebody's race car, I don't care who. I don't care if it's the fastest guy, the slowest guy. You need to be on a race car if you're a businessman, because racers are loyal to them. And honestly, I think they're trying to steal somebody else's sponsors. What they're trying to do, but it doesn't matter. They still use you. Okay, so more than anything else, yes, I would like to thank some of them. I got Skoke Enterprises. I got and. Geez, I'm put on the spot now, and my boys always say, "How can you not throw the sponsors out?" Like Lawn Brigade and Smith Brothers Transmission, but I own that. So
There you go. While you're on that subject,
Polaris
you
Enterprises.
got a phone number and an address? I mean, if anybody's in Topeka area and they need
I can give you the
transmission
phone number, but it's 785-357-7770. But look it up online.
That's Smith Brothers Transmission.
What's the
so-
address?
2647 Southeast 6th Street.
Yep. I
Okay.
can drive you right to it. Rick, thanks so much for coming over tonight. You guys had a fantastic season. We really wanted to, we really tried hard to get you on. I know you wanted to bring the boys. I get it. We understand how it happens. Thanks so much for coming over. Really.
Thanks for being here for everybody, and thanks for supporting the local racetracks like you guys do. It is so important to racetracks to be there, so thank you.
Okay.
Jerry, awesome surprise you coming up tonight. I can't thank you enough, man.
We both thought it might be, and we wanted to do that, especially for the last show of the year. We saw that on Facebook the other night, and I said, "Hey, let's just make a surprise."
Yeah,
And,
well,
so-
you surprised me.
Thank you very much.
Bobby, it's been a tough year for you off and on. I know you've had to sit in this seat more than you wanted to when I ended up in the hospital and stuff. I appreciate you hanging out and
all
taking
good.
care of me.
Yep.
You did a great job. I really appreciate
We're
it.
going to do it again next year.
Oh, yeah, we will. Dean, thanks so much. Of course, Mike Pye for taking photos. Everybody that shows up here every night, I can't thank you enough. Jared running the board back at the studio. And, of
Yeah.
course, 95.5 KVOB. We got to go. They're doing volleyball next. Bobby, thanks so much.
Yep.
Smoky Valley Volleyball with Don Bankston is up next, folks, right here on KVOB 95.5 The Rock. This is Bill Grip for Bobby Potts saying so long. We'll see you right here, hopefully right here at Matty Mays next year when the racing starts in the spring. Take care, and God bless.